Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your favorite Introvert here, and today I'm going to be telling you why the DJI Mavic 2 Pro, which is filming this video right now, is better than the Inspire 2. You want to know the cost difference between the two? It's about $4,000 depending on which kind of setup you have, kind of cine SSDs, and depending on which kind of codecs you may have purchased for the Inspire 2. But this video is going to go into why I think the Mavic 2 Pro is better than the Inspire 2 in every way except one. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so let me talk a little bit about the Inspire 2 first and why I think it is not the best choice if you are considering a drone and you're considering a drone for doing commercial and or for-profit work. Here's a few things to consider. The Inspire 2 is an exponential cost compared to the quality of the production in comparison to the Mavic 2 Pro. Yes, I understand that there are many options that you can have as far as lens selection, camera selection, SSD selection, whether you use Cine SSDs, whether you use the Cine DNG codec, but this is going to come at a higher cost, and the cost to value ratio, the law of diminishing returns, is in full play here. This isn't a cheap bird. It's expensive every time you take it off. It's expensive every time you have to swap batteries. It's just expensive. The stress level when you're operating an Inspire 2 is a lot higher than when you're with the Mavic 2 Pro. It's just the size of this aircraft, seeing it in flight, being around it, especially if you're a single operator, which I don't recommend. Always have a visual observer and or cameraman. It's a lot better feeling when you have two sets of eyes instead of just one. This, at the time of this recording, is still $2,000, over $2,000. The price of the X5 is still near $2,000. So all in, you're going to be around $5,000 just for this kit alone. Yes, I'm not going to lie, when you get a wide angle lens on this thing and you're doing commercial real estate, when you're doing large buildings, the payout is nice and the payout is worth the flight time and the flight costs. But if you don't have any of that lined up, if you're just thinking about buying a drone for fun, if you're thinking about buying a drone for weekend warrior work, you may not want to consider this. The stability in flight, let's talk about stability in flight for a second. DJI has still not been able to figure out this thing while it is in flight. For some reason, it still wanders. There's still some tracking issues. The latest firmware, which I am still not running, latest firmware causes some landing gear issues where it notifies you that the landing gear has been raised and the landing gear is lowered, which, you know, causes some uncertainty in flight, especially if you're out of the range to be able to actually tell whether or not your landing gear is moving up and down. The stability is just not there. It likes to wander. It can wander anywhere from 1 to 2 feet up and down. Remember, you're flying in 3D space, so you can be all over the place. As you see, we're doing a side-by-side comparison flight here. The Inspire is having trouble just staying locked on, and the Mavic 2 Pro is not having any issue with it. Mavic 2 Pro is super stable in flight. Going off of its younger brother, the Mavic Pro, the Mavic 2 Pro just nailed it again. DJI has nailed it again. The stability of that drone is just super impressive. So yeah, we're staying on, you know, the downsides of owning such an expensive bird. There's more moving parts. You have the landing gear that raises up and down. That means there's one servo. If that one servo fails, then you're going to have an interesting time recovering your drone. It's still possible. You can still land it when it's in its upright position, and you can bring it home that way and you don't crash or anything like that. Batteries, flight batteries. There's 2 batteries, so there's redundancy here, but it's $318 to fly a set. You can't interchange sets. You can't go from A to B or B to A or BB to AA. You can't do it. They have to be matched sets, so you have to purchase 2 batteries and match them when they're linked up into the Inspire 2. Don't get me wrong, the Inspire 2 is still an impressive bird performance-wise, but it still is only limited to 24 minutes of flight time, whereas the Mavic 2 Pro is 31 minutes. Let's talk about setup. Setup time is a pain. It takes me about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to set up this aircraft complete from start to finish. There's so many things you have to do. So these are all things that you have to think about. Like if you're just trying to wheel and deal and bang out some videos and bang out some quick real estate jobs, the Mavic 2 Pro is going to be where it's at. Casey Neistat talks about it, the cost of the camera and the cost of the quality of the picture. It starts to degrade. The higher the cost, it gets just a little bit better, where lower cost gets almost the same quality from the X5S camera without all of the licenses, without the ProRes or Cine DNG licenses. Yes, you can mount wider angle lenses on the X5 where you can't with the Mavic Pro. So finally, getting into the one thing that the Inspire 2 is better than the Mavic Pro, and we already touched on it, it's going to be the camera. The ability to interchange your camera system. So as DJI improves their camera gear and DJI improves their systems, just like the X5S was better than the X4, the X7 is better than the X5S with the ability to mount and interchange lenses. This aircraft platform will continue to remain the best in its class, and there will not be much competition with it. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understand what I'm talking about, the diminishing returns. The amount of cost that it takes to operate the Inspire 2 is drastically different than the Mavic 2 Pro. There's nothing wrong with the Inspire 2 other than the stability issues, and there is a time and a place for it. The ability to swap cameras will always be better than a drone like the Mavic 2, where you only have one camera to deal with. The cost perspective of the Mavic 2 Pro, as well as the camera quality, is by far the best DJI has to offer right now. So I'm very impressed still with the Mavic 2 Pro, very impressed that it is putting the Inspire 2 to the challenge, and I look forward to future drones from DJI. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
What you saying? What? What you saying?